Where are we going
Aditya here.
tomorrow?
We're going to Coorg.
Why are we going to Coorg?
Chill.
Are you getting your dad's shoes?
We're going to do vlogs.
That's it. What are we doing in the night?
Eating pork.
And that's how it all started, but I wanted to go a different route with this adventure. How often do we ask ourselves, am I content with who I am? We as people are who we are today, based on numerous things from numerous sources. We have stories bound to every chapter in our lives, and every chapter brings about a change in us that we would term as growth. Growth can be personal, social, or proficient, and each of these may or may not be interrelated. But in my personal experience, each and every one of these aspects is related. We get beat up by social norms and judgments, and we forget to truly live our lives as just pure, plain I. Now, don't get me wrong when I say I. It doesn't mean you have to lead a life alone and independent. What I am trying to say is, you have to be just you no matter what sort of pressure you endure. Most people confuse the difference between being independent and having to do everything on their own, and there is a fine line between the two. Yes, it is easier said than done, and yes, I have my days as well. Extremely good ones and bad ones too. But almost all of them, fortunate ones. How are they fortunate, you wonder? Most things we stick around are most often just temporary. They are momentary, and we feel that makes us live in the moment, but that may not be the case. Living in the moment is a good thing, but we have to make it clear to ourselves that this thing that I am doing is just at this moment, just right now, and is not going to derail me later. As you move forward, holding on to the things that seem right at the moment might turn out to be toxic a lot of the times. The things that we don't pay attention to and we don't see clearly sometimes tend to be permanent and tend to be the ones we often turn towards in the end. But unfortunately, a lot of us realize this very late. Stick to the things and the people who care for you the most, but need not always be tied around your waist. Don't mistake distance for presence. Let's just take a deep breath and think about the one basic thing that keeps us united: acceptance. Acceptance is a huge part of who we are as people, and that's the one thing that brings us together. No matter what race, religion, caste, or creed, that simply just doesn't matter. You may like a few people and you may dislike a few people, but that shouldn't have anything to do with where and what they look like. Like in everybody's life, I have a few people who have made a huge impact on who I am today. I know today that people you call your own need not be blood related to you in any way or do not have to be extended family. People who simply love you unconditionally, help you grow, make time for you no matter what the circumstance and no matter how far apart you are, make their presence felt, just be there for you as a rock and your cornerstone, and they don't leave no matter how you lash out. These are keepers. That makes most of your life. I always knew I had all the support and the love that I needed, but something was always missing: myself. I wondered, where are my soulful findings? I just knew at that moment that I needed to start traveling. I needed to start cataloging all my travels. I needed to feel alive. I just knew that I had to make memories and I had to see the world in a different perspective, and that I have to get out of the concrete jungle that all of us are always caught up in everyday's hustle and bustle. I needed to see other perspectives. I needed to learn and feel other cultures. I needed to see beyond just our small world that we stayed trapped in. It is always a choice, and I made mine to break out and go exploring. I didn't want the monotonous lifestyle that most of us breathe. Have you ever wondered why the world is so large yet seems so small? We always tend to meet people who turn out to be mutually related. The world can be so many different things and so many different places at just once. And all this comes down to the people we meet, the connections we make, and the experiences we go through. We never stop meeting new people as much as we keep our connections close knit. That's inevitable, right? And the beauty about it is, we learn so much and we experience so many things, and some of us tend to inherit so much of it just the way we do from our parents. People, food, incidents teach us so much about who we are, and we experience new cultures, and that nurtures us further. Almost like it is a part of us, like an extension of us. And to experience and learn and inherit all this, travel becomes a huge part of our lives. Traveling gives you perspective about new things and gives a perspective about yourself. You tend to learn more things about yourself, and the best part about it is, you get to meet yourself consciously. Meeting yourself in person, now that would be pretty exciting, wouldn't it? You don't need a mirror to look at your reflection. You can look down at the water of a stream. You don't need a gas stove to cook food, or you don't need a water heater to take a warm shower. You could use wood logs for both. You tend to see your roots and how things are right at what they are today when you travel and explore. We think the world we live in is so small because of all the technology we have, and yes, technology does connect people, but you never really experience something unless you cross the line, put your feet in, and touch it. You can truly only experience the value of something when you get into it and explore. Everything doesn't have to have a meaning and doesn't have to make sense to the whole world, but it sure does have to make a difference to you. A lot of times, just solely you.
Baro.
Finally, to everyone who is listening and watching this, don't take your surroundings for granted. Live life the way you want that makes you feel alive. Go explore, get out of your nest, and get to know yourself. Be your most lively and best self you can be. We have one life to live and many places to go. Go in search of your soulful findings. And lastly, my inspiration.